On this episode 139 of the podcast, I'm going to talk about booked out solo working and a election update for you because I'm sure you're all super excited by that. Super excited. So, let's get into it, everybody. So, how you doing out there? I'm doing okay today. Well, it's been an interesting day. So this first little anecdote happened today. Now it is Saturday, so you'll be listening to this on Friday, of course, which will be 1st of August. Wow. Anyway, so it's been very rainy today. We've had about 15 or so millimetres of rain. Anyway, so my brother and his family came over and we were like, hey, do we want to go and try the virtual golf? Because there is virtual golf near home, not too far away. So we're like, yeah, let's go there. Anyway, so we went down there, goes in. Oh, sorry, do you have a booking? No, sorry, you're booked. We're booked out. Until like 5 o'clock. It's like, okay, brilliant. I don't know what time we got down there. It might have been like 11:30. Booked out. So we thought, okay, how about we go 10-pin bowling? Go to the bowling alley. Chock-a-block. Spoilers. Also, like, booked out. So we're like, right. So then we went to a sushi train. But, so that is like, key to the story, key to the riff is if you want to go somewhere, apparently, on a rainy day, book it, because deciding you want to go wherever on a whim is not a good idea, because there's no where to go. I wasn't expecting like everywhere to be booked out, if I'm honest. That I was surprised at that. However, it is good generally. I think that, even though it's not very nice, rainy, people getting out and about and all that fun stuff. So that's all right. But a little bit of a fizzer today with, we'll go to virtual golf. Haven't tried it before. Nah, chockers. Oh, how about we go 10-pin bowling? Nah, chockers. We did think, how about we go to the driving range at the casino? Because they have a driving range there, but driving range not open yet because they're doing some work up there, the golf course and whatever. And so the golf course, the driving range there, apparently not open yet. Our plan, and then like subsequent plan Bs, not working for us, which is disappointing, but also, disappointing. I'll say that. So, a bit of a fizz of that, but anyway, whatever. We will see. I was about to say we'll see what goes on. I mean, we won't because it's 4:30. Been out, back home. I'm not going anywhere else today. So there you go. Anyway, key to the story, if you want to go somewhere, call ahead. Not a bad idea. But like short distances really around here. So we didn't have to drive like long distances or whatever to be disappointed. So, yeah. Anyway. Let's get into the next little anecdote for you. So, everybody, as you will know, I have mentioned this before, I work for an architect. I am not an architect. Oh, that reminds me, I might have a new listener. So, how you doing? You know who you are. How you doing out there? You doing all right? Good. Now, we have a device at the office, which is a scanner. So it's like a 3D sort of scanner. So if we have an existing building we want to go to, or we need to do some work on, we can scan the building with our scanner. I think it's like it's a LiDAR scanner. It's a fancy gadget. Anyway, Now, I have used it, I think, twice before. And anyway, I was sent off by myself to do a scan of a building. And it's not a very big scan, just very basic stuff. And I was like nervous. Actually, I shouldn't. I've got NVIDIA wants me to update, and I'm like, yeah, let's do it, but then also don't. Not until I'm finished. Anyway, so I had to do a 3D scan of somewhere, and I was nervous because I was like, well, I've not done this before by myself, so I was sent off by myself. Obviously, there was confidence put in me. So I went, did the scan of this area, and kind of like basic rule of thumb, right, with the scanner is you sort of do about 7 paces between where you place it. So you get some overlap from the scan, etc. So I sort of marked out where I wanted to go when I got there, got going, and got the job done. Like, it was fine. Seemed to be fine. Got back to the office, got the scan all uploaded to the computer and all that, had a look at it, and there was one. See, what happens is the scan, you do it, and it comes up. So you start, so you do one section. So the scan comes up on the iPad, and you sort of look at it, and you kind of place it how you think is appropriate. So you go, okay, say you're starting in a corner, you might decide, you look at it and you go, okay, well, these are the 2 adjacent corners I'm standing here, so this is the orientation. Okay, brilliant. So then you do your second scan, and then of course then the second scan comes up, and you like line it up and link it up with the first one you've done, and you do that as you go around, linking them all up, and then that creates your 3D scan. Anyway, what I had done, I think it was the second scan I did, or the third, one of the early ones wasn't quite right, and so when I got it into software, I was able to look at the 3D, and I had one just say all this, like the building, just say for example, is like going from top to bottom, right? So it's linear. It was a straight building. So just say you got a straight line. But anyway, one of the scans I'd put in crossways. So I had like a T thing going, and I thought, well, that's not right, is it? So I was able to look at the software, turn that scan around, line it up properly, get that sorted, get that set up, and yeah, like went through the software, just checked it all, looked fine, looked good, looked superb, and yeah, so the first scan seemed to be fine, no problems with it, worked out for me, which was good. And I sort of was like, yeah, because it was like we have one guy in the office who's kind of like the scan guy, and I think the idea as well, we would like some of the other staff to know how to use the scanner. And it's, to be fair, it's pretty simple in my view. I've done it a few times, and now I've done it, by myself. So it's not that difficult in my view. You kind of figure it out. So yeah, it was pretty cool actually to go and do that by myself. Be, I suppose, entrusted, even though there might not have been anybody else available to do it. Yeah. Anyway, so it was good. Like I kind of enjoyed it, if I'm honest. So yeah, didn't have any issues. Actually, I had one, the battery was going flat on me. It was about 20%, and I thought, that'll be all right. It'll be able to do this scan. So I went, got a new battery, went back to the scanner, and it dogged me. It broke down, or went flat, I should say. So I had to sort the battery out and continue, or sort of start that scan again. So I was like, oh, come on, brilliant. But apart from that, got it done. Oh my, yawning. Oh. But yeah, got it done. So that was super good. Anyway, everybody, we'll be back after this with a quick election update for you. So last episode I mentioned that we were having a election because there was a vote of no confidence in the Premier, and I think I said previous episode, the incumbents of the government had some options, like the Premier could have resigned, for example, as the leader of the party, and the party, whom is the largest party in the government, they could have, elected a new leader, and then the governor could have appointed them as the Premier. So we didn't have to have an election, or the opposition could have said, well, we will make up a liquor all sorts coalition so we can govern, for example. So there didn't have to be an election. Anyway, we had one, and the results are not quite in, but they're almost in now. The counting is apparently going to be finished, or projected to be finished, on the 2nd of August. I'm not sure why it's because the 2nd's a Saturday, but anyway, it's going to take them at least another week. Now, it was election day. Wow, when was that? Last Saturday, I believe, was election day. I think it was on the 19th. Yep. So it was election day, so it's already 1 week, so it's going to be like 2 weeks of counting, just to make sure you get the postals in and all those early pre-polls and whatever sorted. But anyway, it seems to me, which seems that the results are going, even though the opposition party have had their primary vote has tanked, they will, the makeup of the parliament is pretty much going to be the same as what it was. Now, the opposition party might pick up an extra seat. We will see. They might get an extra one. But anyway, so our parliament's pretty small. I think it's 35 seats. So the current so you need 18 for a majority. So the current situation is the incumbent have 14, which is what they had before. The main opposition party have 10. One of the other, I guess sort of in Australia, you have sort of like 3 main parties. So the third of those parties has 5. And then there are 4 independent candidates. And then there are 2 seats currently undecided that will depend on counting. So the opposition could pick up one of them. So they could get to 11. So that could be interesting. So there will be some sort of coalition government. Nobody has a majority, which I don't think is an issue personally, because, you've got to work with your crossbench. So, yeah, we will see what goes on. I think my view is, because there was a vote of no confidence in the Premier, and most of the independents and the whole crossbench kind of supported it, my view is, if you're an independent candidate who has been re-elected and you voted for a vote of no confidence, how can you then say, well, we will back the incumbent government? I'm not really sure. I don't know, I suppose it depends what the agreements are, but that's an interesting one in my view. So we will see what goes on. Everybody has been saying, well, whatever happens, we want to make sure, or try to get the Parliament to last the full term, because we have had early elections every parliamentary term, probably the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, probably. And when the incumbents think having an early election is great, of course they love it, because they've had majority most of that time. But the last election last year, the Parliament was expanded, so they didn't pick up any more seats than what they already had. So anyway, we'll see what goes on. We will see what goes on with it all. Interesting times ahead. So we will see what goes on. Anyway, we'll wrap it up after this. Well, everybody, that is it for this episode of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I am concerned because the red light has stopped flashing on my Osmo. Has the battery gone flat? The Osmo's, it's not been great recently. I don't know why. I think the battery might be bad or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. If I wasn't waffling so much about election stuff, I could have had this finished. But anyway, that's it, everybody. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. If you watched, that'd be interesting to see what that even looks like. And I'll catch you next time. Bye.